Welcome to One on One, the Daily Items weekly digital program featuring Susquehanna Valley newsmakers interviewed by Daily Item reporters. Today's guest is the new Sunbury City Administrator, Jody Ocker, interviewed by Francis Scarcella.
Is 2019 the year you're ready? Ready for a new car? Before you buy, give Kia a try at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Before you buy, give Kia a try and save over $4,000 on a 2019 Kia Sportage or Sorento. A 2019 Kia Sportage LX was $26,820. Now pay just $22,818. A 2019 Sorento LX was $39,616. Now just $26,777.
Welcome to One on One. I'm Francis Scarcella, being joined with the new city administrator, Jody Ocker. First, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We're going to get all into your background, and that's how normal things always really start, and they get into why you're here and the whole 9 yards. But let's just jump right into it. How has your first 2 weeks been in the city of Sunbury?
It's been wonderful, really. I'm learning a lot every single day. I've met with each one of the council members, and so I got an idea of their departments and kind of what they feel are the main priorities of their departments and things they'd like to see happen in the future. So I get that perspective, and then I'm also planning in the next 2 weeks or so to get around and just talk to each of the departments, the employees themselves, and get what their perspective is, because sometimes it's a little different.
Especially because the city has not had an administrator in forever, it seems. So basically the council has run each of their departments. So that was a big issue as I cover Sunbury. So I know that was a big issue of those council members giving up those departments to someone. So with that being said, you obviously saw this posted somewhere, and I know you're Sunbury, we're going to get into all of that, but you saw this and said, this is something that you have military background, which again we'll get into, but you saw this and you were like, this seems like a challenge? Because there's an over-under pool. There's an over-under pool with everything that happens here in Sunbury. So
well, luckily I've been far removed from a lot of that stuff for the years that I was away. But what happened was getting into the end of my first year of retirement, where I just swore I was not going to get another job, certainly not an executive level job. I was going to be retired and just travel the world. Well, okay, about a year later, I'm thinking, I need something to do. This just wasn't enough just to wake up every day and think, I don't know what to do today. So I was ready to find something. And I ran into the mayor at McGuigan's and said hello to him because I recognized him. I had met him like at one of the street fairs or whatever earlier in the summer. And I said, hello, how's it going? And then I just asked him, I said, I'm retired military. I'm looking for something to do. How can I contribute to my community? And he listed off some openings on the different boards that they have. And then he said, but we also are trying to fill the city administrator position. So take a look at the job description on the website and see, if you want to consider that. So that was all the conversation. And so I went home and looked it up on the website and I read it. And I thought, there isn't anything in that job description that I haven't done in the military as a commander and in the positions that I've held, especially in my last 10 years. I'm like, I think I could do this. So I just did it.
So you went out and did it. So
yeah.
How's it been with Mayor Karlovich so far? How have you guys, and again, we talked a little bit off the camera, and I say it all. It's the honeymoon period.
It is the honeymoon period.
So he got everybody's all.
Yeah, we're happy.
Yeah, everything's happy.
We're all happy right now. So it's been great working with the mayor. So he actually painted the office that we're going to move into, and then he decided to paint the reception area out front of his office, and so
it's a whole new look.
So I came in my work clothes, and we painted the walls together. So it's just building rapport, building relationships, and so far so good.
Let's get into the hardcore stuff then. There's a lot of issues. I'm sure you've come in and saw that there's tons of issues throughout every department, it seems, but police department in particular. We're down to 5 officers.
Right.
You're ex-military. You know that's not necessarily the safest thing for a city of 10,000.
Right.
What do you think of that? What have you dove into in that so far?
So in that, I'm not in my contract and my job description. I am not supervising the police department. The mayor retains that. But he has asked my opinion, and I give my opinion. I think that it is problematic that there's only 5 police officers. I know from the past, I don't think there's any secret that the Sunbury Police Department has not had a very good reputation. And I think that we need to figure out how to make that change. And I think just working with, well, right now it's Brad Hare, who's the officer in charge. So I've had a chance to talk with him just briefly. They've got a lot of problems with their building. I mean, how do you function professionally out of a building that looks like that? So I think we need to find solutions for those.
And that was
fundamentals.
And that was one of the things they did try to start before, chaos breaks loose again. But they were looking at a building in Sunbury, and then the legal fees obviously went through the roof.
Yeah.
Weren't allowed to do all that. Is that something, again, you'd still consider looking into?
Yeah, I think that legal fee issue, we're just about out from under that, from what I understand. And so maybe we can then look at what's in the budget to do some longer-term planning. That's one of the things that I'm bringing with me. I think I'd like to see more of an assessment of the real property that we have, what are our assets, what are our liabilities, and try to figure out how to make that more efficient. I mean, I'm really only speaking off the top of my head now because I'm just getting to know the place.
Sure.
But those are the ideas. When you add structure and process, a standard process to things, it makes it easier to prioritize and make decisions and plan ahead, especially in your budget when, it's going to be something multiple thousands of dollars. Right. How is that going to fit into the long-term plan?
How about businesses? Downtown Sunbury is like a ghost town anymore. And one by one, they just continuously seem to pick up and go. So what are your have you looked at that? Have you walked up and down the streets? And
once I found out I was getting this job, I started, I had been walking because that's healthy. Yeah. And I walk around and I would look at Sunbury through different eyes and think, well, what's going on here? What about these buildings here? I wonder why. I think we need to make a real comprehensive strategic plan for development in Sunbury. And that's working with Sunbury Revitalization. It's working with business owners. It's working with wherever I can find people that are good to network with, collaborate with, so that we have one plan that we're all working toward and we know what that plan is. It's very difficult, I think, to think about this downtown being a shopping place because people shop in other ways than they used to. Not like when I was growing up and would walk down to J.J. Newberry's and Woolworths, to buy my 45 RPM records. So I think we have to think a little bit more creatively about what kinds of businesses where they're actually provided, maybe they provide a service rather than shopping or something like that. I just think I need to do a little bit more research also in journals that are actually focused on municipal development. I need to get educated. There are, I'm sure, many towns that have tried redevelopment things. Maybe there are things that we can find that are good evidence-based projects to try. So,
how about as far as the council members themselves? You said you have met with them now. Obviously, again, we'll address it all. There was a lot of tensions between council and the mayor and council and everybody brawling all over the place. Seems to have kind of slowed down a little bit here and there, but have you seen any of that? And if you have, or if you have not, are you prepared to address all of that as now being that seems to be you're like the middle person now? So
yeah, I think again, being away for 28 years, I was not in the know on a lot of those tensions that were happening. Although when I first got back, and when you can watch the video of the meeting on YouTube, and surprise, I'm gonna put this on, and mention that and bring that up, and it's just that doesn't look very good on us, I think. And I hope they don't get mad at me for saying this, but I'm gonna be honest. If I was a business owner and I was looking for a place to put my business, if I saw the shenanigans, we'll call it, that go on in the local government, I might be reluctant to put my business here. And I think that's a very real thing for everyone to be aware of. And so hopefully that will get better. Hopefully when I can take over more of the responsibilities of the day-to-day operations of all of the departments and all of that maybe that will maybe that will make those relationships on the council with the mayor a little bit easier.
So that's
I
your
don't
plan.
know.
Your plan is to get them, everybody together and move forward. From
Right.
this
I
point
think
forward
that's
again. Yeah.
when we have to have a strategic plan, and everybody has to agree that that's the plan, and so it'll make some of those other decisions on budgeting or other directions easier when you put it in the structure of the strategic plan.
Right. And I heard with your military background, which we're going to get into, that you're not going to take any nonsense anyway. So I think they're kind of going to back down a little bit. And you've been nothing but nice so far. But I hear from the birdies out there that you can be tough as well. So
Well, I mean, I'm not easily intimidated, and I don't have to have this job. I don't need this job, and so I will stay in this job. I love a challenge. I like to feel like I'm having a positive effect on my community. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to stay and work really hard. If it becomes not that much fun, then I won't stay.
what do you want to say?
But that's not a threat. That's just
Right.
reality.
Right.
And I really think that we can work together. I haven't seen anything yet that tells me that we can't. And I can be tough. I'm not intimidated, and there isn't going to
That's what
be
we hear, so.
somebody tell me, put me in my place.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
And with that, we'll be right back.
Is 2019 the year you're ready? Ready for a new car? Before you buy, give Kia a try at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see you in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Before you buy, give Kia a try and save over $4,000 on a 2019 Kia Sportage or Sorento. A 2019 Kia Sportage LX was $26,820. Now pay just $22,818. A 2019 Sorento LX was $39,616. Now just $26,777.
We're back with the new city administrator, Jody Ocker. We're going to get in your background. I've been saying it the whole time. One other thing that I'd like to discuss with you is obviously the big thing in Sunbury that happened was with the 30-year-old cold case, Barbara Miller cold case. And we had talked, and again, you've been away for a long time, but you've seen bits and pieces here. So you support the efforts. I mean, Sunbury really went hardcore and all the way to get answers for the family. So we like to ask everybody that's because you'll be privy to a lot of that stuff, and just tell me your thoughts on that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, I have been away and a lot, but I did read that article. It was a great article to give me some background on that this morning on the paper. And absolutely, I support, we need to find answers, and I need to find those answers so that the family can have closure. And I can't imagine how horrible it must be not to know what happened.
Right.
And they just want an answer. And I think we owe it to the family to do the best we can to get that answer.
Perfect. So with that said, you would know about those kind of things. So tell us about your background. You were hardcore military, 28
years.
28 years.
Yep.
Tell us everything you did in the military
Okay.
in a short amount of time.
Okay. So I became a nurse. I went to Bloomsburg. I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. And during that spring semester, we're graduating, I got to talking to an Air Force recruiter, and I thought, well, I don't see myself staying around the hometown right away, so I want to go have adventure. And boy, did I ever. So I signed on initially for 3 years. My first assignment was Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. And from there, I've gone multiple assignments all over the world. I've been to Incirlik, Turkey. So I've been stationed in Turkey, Misawa, Japan, Ramstein, Germany, the Azores. And then in the States, I've been in Washington, D.C., San Antonio, Texas. I was a medical group commander out at Beale Air Force Base in California. And here on the East Coast at Langley Air Force Base down Hampton, Virginia.
So you've seen a lot then during that.
Yeah,
period of time.
yeah. I can't say enough. It was the best, really, seat of the pants decision to join the
What
military.
made you just time, or you could have stayed in the military if you wanted to, or was it just?
I
mean, you got to a rank too, right? What
Yeah,
was your rank?
I retired as a colonel. So I went in as a second lieutenant, and I retired as a full bird colonel in the Air Force Nurse Corps. And I just loved it. It fit well. I always wanted to travel the world. It gave me that opportunity. There were lots of challenges to grow as a person, as a leader. And so I think that it was a sense of adventure that got me there. It was a commitment to service that kept me there. And that kind of translates into coming home and still wanting to serve and serve my community.
And you're a Shikellamy graduate, right?
I am a
What year?
Shikellamy. Oh, do I have to say what year? 82. I don't
82.
care. I'm proud.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you went from there right into college, or you took a little break in between?
Oh, well, first I went to Penn State because I was going to be an engineer. And then I decided after the first year I never wanted to take another math class in my life. So I did a couple years at Penn State and then took a year off because I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I don't think that's unusual for
Right.
18, 19-year-old to not know.
Right.
And then I figured it out. And once I decided to go to nursing school, I moved back here to Sunbury, lived with mom and dad while I commuted to Bloomsburg and got that degree, and then off and running from there.
And you have family still around here. So you left for 28 years.
28 years, yeah.
And then you decided instead, you could have went anywhere, right? Retired. You
Yeah.
Could have picked warm weather. You could have picked anywhere you
Yeah,
wanted
I was
to go.
thinking maybe I could buy a house in Belize.
That's what you could have did. What made you decide to come back to Sunbury?
Well, it really had to do with, I could buy that house in Belize, but I don't know anybody there. Who do I want to be around when I'm in my later years? So my parents still live here. My dad was a school teacher here. So they still live in the house I grew up in. And so I found a house for sale there on Front Street and thought, well, if I'm going to live in Sunbury, I want to be around the people I love. That's the house for me. And so I'm fixing that up. And it's great to be back here.
And you're a stone's throw away from City Hall, so you can come in at any given time and do whatever at any given time.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Well, that's great, and we appreciate you coming out. We wish you the best of luck. And
Thank you.
again, we had it. There was an over/under pool, but you're going to win this one, I think. So
I hope so.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching One on One. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition.